So I really think that when we start to think about ADHD from its physical health comorbidities, the sorts of physical health problems that cluster together with ADHD, that actually we're only just really starting to understand because we haven't really been focusing there. We've just been focusing mainly on the brain. And actually, this is the problem. This is a real problem because if you just look in one area, then you will find the pathology and the problems in that area. But the moment you flip the camera and look at the physical body, and I'm talking about the sorts of physical health problems that cluster together with ADHD at higher levels than you'd expect, you find some very interesting things.
What, like what?
You find, well, it falls into various clusters, but a couple of the really interesting ones. So you find people with dysautonomia, disordered autonomic nervous systems, higher levels of POTS, and these various other issues. You find higher rates of immune type problems, so more allergies, more autoimmunity, and high rates of conditions that are suspected, that I believe have quite a strong immune basis, like chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia and chronic pain disorders and so on. So there's lots of this immune overreactivity, allergies plus, and also high rates of autoimmunity as well. That's where the immune system starts making mistakes and starts sort of attacking the self. So you've got these clusters going on there. You've got high rates of migraine, and you've got high rates of diabetes. And interestingly, you have very high rates of hypermobility. So this is lax connective tissue, lax joint laxity, the people who can bend their body into all sorts of different positions and party tricks and extra flexible, and often did gymnastics in childhood, and it's all great until it's not great when you have hypermobility. And the reality is, so 10 to 20% of the general population are hypermobile. In ADHD, shockingly, and this was really where my entry point into this area, because I started recognizing that a lot of my patients had connective tissue issues, had hypermobility. I was getting like 35-40% of my patients.
Oh my God.
And then the study came out not so long ago, a couple of years ago, that showed approximately 50%, half of all people with ADHD are hypermobile. Now, when you dig down into this a little bit, I mean, that's a big number. I mean,
Yeah.
when you see something so strongly associated in that way, you really do start to question whether it's part of, that they're connected, they're like the same thing. And that's what I'm starting to believe to be the case.